Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Hello, YouTube and Facebook. How you guys doing this evening? Mr. Finn back again with a live, and I'm happy to be here. So, welcome you all. Let's see who's in the chat. Say good night to you. Good evening to you guys. Peekaboo, hey, how you doing? Glad you made it. Marty Nutshot, how you doing, buddy? Vigo, great, good. Glad you guys are here. So, welcome to tonight's topic, tonight's live stream. If you guys saw the title, I had titled it, how to have a happiness, huh? Or how to have a life of happiness and no regrets. I was thinking this last week of things that I want to bring to you guys, things that I want to talk to you guys with. I'm no specialist, and I'm no guru. I'm a humble man who has had lots of experiences in life, and I have been fortunate enough to be successful out here in Brazil as an English teacher. And throughout my career here in Brazil, I have had a lot of success in engaging with people and in different situations and like conversation classes and stuff. I've been able to help quite a few people with just giving them proper perspective. Okay, so again, like I said, right, as a disclaimer, I'm no guru, I'm no specialist, but in my 40 plus years in life, I've lived quite a full life, right? And this is my third live stream, and I'm really enjoying it. And I want to do things other than English. Like I want to infuse things that I find relevant, things that I believe can be helpful, and some English at the same time, right? Because my objective to be online is to make you a better communicator. And if I can, I want to do my best, not only to make you a better communicator, but to also help you have a fuller life, a richer life, and a happier life, right? We live in a time where most people, I think, have like rosy colored glasses. Lots of people live in la la land, in fantasy world, and particularly because of social media, Instagram, Facebook. And you see all the things that people post, their dream lives. I'm sure you've heard the expression, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? But what I want to tell you is that everyone has their issues. Everyone has their problems, okay? So those of you who are watching now, I'm glad I have your attention. If you're watching this as an archived video, stick around to the end, because I do think some insight I will bring can maybe help you have a different perspective on life in general. So this thing about happiness, ask yourself a question. Are you happy? Are you happy in life in general? Are you happy with the life that you've made? Are you happy with your work? Are you happy with the subject, your major in school, the subject that you decided to study? Are you happy in the relationship that you're in? You see, what made me think of this is quite a few things. Quite a few things. In particular, yesterday I was in I had a challenge I was involved in. Those of you who don't know, I'm a member of what's called the Fraternity of Excellence, FOE. It's an online fraternity of men who are working together to make each one better. We have that old saying, iron sharpens iron. In fact, that's a Bible verse in Proverbs. Brother sharpens brother like steel, or iron sharpens iron. And in this fraternity, it's really good because it's not just a place to hang out. That's like Facebook or Instagram or something. No, it's actually a place where men, we get together, we help each other out on things, we use our expertise, experience, and then if we have problems or issues, we bring it to the table, and there's always someone there to help us. And the co-founder of the fraternity, Zach Small, check him out on Instagram and Twitter. He's a really great guy. He also wrote a book called 31 DTM, and that means 31 Days to Masculinity. And every March, he runs a campaign on this book. For every day, there are challenges that we men who are participating in this campaign are doing. And I'm in it, right? Today is the 16th, so we're practically halfway through. So yesterday's challenge, we had to write a letter to ourselves. Each one of us had to write a letter to ourselves, basically saying like a goodbye letter. Like we had 1 hour left to live, and we had to write a letter to ourselves in the past, identifying things maybe we could have done better, things that we wish we had done better, things we wish we would have done. And that got me thinking kind of on this subject. I think a lot of people have regrets, or a lot of people look at outside or external things to be happy. I didn't use the microphone this whole time. Now I'm using the microphone. Oh my goodness.
That was a rookie move if ever. Now we're better, right? Now the sound should be much better. I can't believe I did that. Anyways, so doing that challenge yesterday had me thinking a lot about this topic, this subject, about happiness, about regrets, things like that. And I figured this would be an interesting thing for us to discuss and to talk about, right? So, for example, what if? Now, as an English teacher, I do want to interject some English with what we're talking about. Many times I see people say, if I was, I wish I was, and that's not grammatically correct. Okay, those of you who are even native English speakers. If I were, or I wish I were, this is how we use the construction. Why? Well, this has to deal with what is in English grammar considered the second conditional. What is the second conditional? The second conditional deals with a hypothetical present or a hypothetical future. And that's what if I were. Now, why do we say this hypothetical present or hypothetical future? Well, the reason why I started today asking you, are you happy? Because if you're not, there's no point in complaining. Why? Because if you're not happy about something now, that can't change now. If you want to be happy, you have to make better choices now, because today is a result of yesterday's choices. You understand? So the things that we did yesterday, the choices that we made yesterday, and when I mean yesterday, it's not literally yesterday, but our past has brought us to where we are today. And if there's something in your life that you're not happy with today, then today is the day that you need to start making those changes for a better tomorrow. Does that make sense? So going back to this construction, if I were, we often use this either in wishful thinking or giving advice. Like, if I were you, I would take that job opportunity. If I were you, I would sleep more. Now, why if I were? Because it's impossible for me to be you. But if I were you, that's what I would do. If I were a millionaire, if I were only 5 feet, not 5 feet because I'm already tall, but if I was only like 1 foot taller, if I were three inches, less in my diameter, you see, all of these things, if I were, they're hypothetical. It's a hypothetical present. Now you can change that in the future, but as a conditional, like I said, this is something we use in the second conditional, because in English grammar, the second conditional deals with a past hypothetical for a past, like, yeah, hypothetical thing, because you can't change the past, to a hypothetical present. So if I were you, I would do this. If I had gone there, I would have seen you, things like that. That's how the second conditional works. And when you use this if, or I wish, it's the same thing. I wish I were richer. I wish I were happier. I wish I were single. I wish I were married. It's the same thing. And this construction goes for all people, all pronouns. If she were you, or if she were me, she would, it works like that, right? So, hey, evening, guys. Let's say what's up to Jonathan. How you doing, Jonathan? Good to see you. Yeah. You know what? That's great. This is Ace Ventura 2, right? Ace Ventura 2. And that is a great example, right? Because if you guys seen the movie Ace Ventura 2, I think Nutshots remembers the scene I'm talking about, right? He's climbing up the cliff to rescue the raccoon, and the guy's like, "Are you crazy? If I wouldn't do that if I were you." And what did he say? Well, if you were me and I were you, then I would be climbing up this mountain with your body. But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's hypothetical, right? It's hypothetical. Gabriel, how you doing? Good to see you. Ignacio, he was hanging out with me live on Instagram today. Good. I'm glad you made it. Welcome. What does he say? If I were fluent in English, I would understand movies without subtitles. That is actually accurate. But guess what? A hypothetical like this is attainable. You can achieve this. Practice, contact, participating in lives, engaging with people. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. We got Peekaboo here. Hi, Peekaboo. What does she say? Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for a ride and maybe be in and out. Okay, no problem, Peekaboo. I'm glad that you made it. I'm glad that you made it. This will be saved too on the channel. Vigo, how you doing, Vigo? Good to see you in. I'm not going to pay that much attention to the comments so much right now. I want to go on with my train of thought. Yeah, the cliffhanger spoof. That's exactly right. Ace Ventura is a great movie. I really get a kick out of Jim Carrey. I think he's a little wackadoo, but he's got some funny movies. I'm not a big slapstick kind of comedy fan, but I like Jim Carrey. But yeah, that's the idea. He does use that construction in the movie, right? What does he say here? Someone get the poor lady a ride. Yeah, I know, right? Poor thing. Anyways, let's get going here. Okay. So thinking about this topic of happiness and thinking about this topic of regrets, my mind immediately goes to this: I wish I were, if I were, because we go to this what if, right? What if I were taller? What if I were richer? Now let me ask you something. Do you actually think an external force or something outside of you can make you happy? It can give us temporary happiness. It can fulfill a want that we have. But if you think about it, real happiness has got to come from within. Real happiness has to start from you. I've seen many wealthy people, wealthy, not rich, wealthy. I'll explain in a minute what I mean by the difference. I've seen many wealthy people who are miserable. And you think to yourself, why are they miserable? They have everything they want. Do they? I'm not a wealthy man, but I consider myself to be a very rich man. And why? What's the difference? Well, I've got a family. I've got a wife, 2 kids. I've got a home. I'm living. I got food in the fridge. I got energy on. I'm healthy. I'm rich. I got more than a lot of people have in this world. I'm not wealthy. I'm working towards it. I'm trying to do some things where I can increase my wealth, but I don't need wealth to make me happy. And this is the point I'm trying to make. I think the only thing, in my opinion, and you guys can't correct me, but the only thing that I think wealth can truly bring you is freedom, real freedom. Because if money's not an option, or not an option, if money's not an issue, you can literally do whatever you want, buy whatever you want, go wherever you want. And I think that this is something we see a lot of wealthy people, or this is the reason why I think we see a lot of wealthy people buying lots of things, going lots of places. I think they're trying to feel something and fill a hole in them. You see, I've seen miserable people all of a sudden get lots of money, and they're just as miserable. If not, their misery amplifies. All of a sudden, all these friends come out of the woodworks, and it doesn't bring them any happiness. And if these people who make money like this, if they didn't earn it, the chances of them keeping that money is slim, because they didn't earn it, so they don't know how to manage it, and then they're going to burn through it. So, and on the contrary, I've seen happy people who have the bare essentials, just the bare minimum, and they earn an inheritance, or they get money, and they're just as happy, and they live simply. Like, that's how I see myself living if I were to make lots of money. Like, if I had lots of money, I don't think I would have a nice car. I don't think I would have a big house. I would have a comfortable house. I would have a comfortable car, but I wouldn't want to show off. I would live simply. Does that make sense? So when you see here, as I'm talking about these hypotheticals, I'm using that second conditional. I would have a simple car. I would have a simple house. But I know that my kids and my family be taken care of, because money's not an issue. Unfortunately, I don't have that guarantee, because money is something I don't have a lot of. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm all right. So going back to this idea of happiness, right? And how it's something that's got to come out from you, and not something outside to come into you. It's really something you have to work on. I think of a quote, and someone maybe can fact check me, but I believe it was Abraham Lincoln. And he said that I am happy as I decide to be, right? And you can think, well, that's stupid, because I can't decide a feeling. Feelings have a mind of their own. I can't control my feelings. And there's a lot of truth to that. You can't control your feelings. But if you learn how to, I guess you could say, discipline yourself, or discipline your feelings, or I don't say feelings, maybe your emotions, then I think you can kind of guide your feelings to where you want them to be. Now, what do I mean when I say that? A lot of what I understand by happiness comes from a gentleman named Dennis Prager. I don't know if any of you guys know who Dennis Prager is. He's a syndicated radio show host in the United States. He's in Southern California, but his radio show broadcasts syndicated across America. And he's actually grown a lot since I've been following him. My mom followed him when I was a kid, but I didn't really catch on to him until after 9/11. That's when I started becoming interested in more of what's going on in the world and politics and things like that. And the nice thing about Dennis Prager is he doesn't just talk about politics. Unfortunately, like, everything nowadays is politics, and it's driving me crazy. Like, I'm a sports fan. I consider myself an athlete. I love playing sports, but you know what? I'm tired of sports. Politics, in my opinion, just ruined it all. So anyways, Dennis, he talks about everything in life, and he's a big advocate on happiness. In fact, He wrote a book on happiness called Happiness is a Serious Problem. And he wrote this book, God, over 10 years ago, or maybe 15 years ago. And it's a really, really easy read. And it brings a good point to what happiness is. He describes it, he uses the analogy of like hygiene. Why do we brush our teeth every day? Now, obviously, it's to have good health, right? You want to brush your teeth, have fresh breath, clean teeth so your teeth don't fall out. But I bet you if you didn't have to go out and interact with people, you probably wouldn't brush your teeth 2 times a day, maybe once. So if you think about it, we brush our teeth as often as we do, or we put on deodorant for other people because you don't want to be around someone who's got stinky breath, right? I would love to hear Nutshots if he had any encounters, because Nutshots, if you guys are single and interested in dating apps and learning how to conquer them, you got to check out Nutshots channel. He does a great job, and he's got data and statistics to back up what he says. But anyways, I'd love to hear his input on this. Like, did he ever go on a date with someone that just had rank, stanky breath or didn't like use deodorant? So we don't want to be around people who stink. Now, let me ask you, do you want to be around someone who's just negative and complaining all the time? So why are you complaining all the time? I'm not pointing out anybody in particular, but maybe somebody's watching now or somebody's going to watch in the future. This is a good question for you. Yeah. Lots of coffee breath on my dates. Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of that coffee is maybe sweet, right? Macchiatos and lattes and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, good. May you type his name down, please, sir. I don't know whose name you're talking about, Gabriel. If you're talking about this guy, Nutshots, check out his YouTube channel. At the end of I'll put a link in the description when I load the video after the live. Okay, but anyways, so I think you guys are gonna get my point. You don't want to be around someone who's got bad breath. You don't want to be around someone that just stinks, who hasn't taken a shower and just has body odor coming off them. The same thing about negative people. I guarantee you know somebody who's just always complaining. And whenever you see them, like they're calling, you look at their video ID, their video or caller ID, like, oh man, now what? Or they walk into a room and you're like, oh man, here comes Karen. And that's the point that Dennis Prager brings up when he talks about, happiness is a serious problem. He says that happiness is being happy is a moral obligation. That to be happy is not necessarily for you, but it's for those around you, right? Because we're not an island by ourselves. We don't. It's really kind of narcissistic, or it's really selfish to just be complaining and negative. Trust me, people have their own problems. They don't want to hear yours. Now, I'm not saying don't share, but just don't share with everybody. Everyone should have a couple of friends. And when I mean a couple of friends, when I'm talking about, I mean a few people in your life that you call like a tight-knit group of friends. Those are the people you share with. Guys, don't share with your women. And my wife, if she watches, she'll probably complain to me, but it's true. I don't share with her my problems, my issues, my insecurities, things like that. It's not her place to take on my burdens. I'm her husband. I'm the man in this relationship. I'm the rock. So I have to maintain frame here at home with my wife and my children. That doesn't mean I got things, I got issues, I got doubts, I got things working on. So what do? I got my fraternity of brotherhood. I got a group of men that I can share with. So don't misunderstand me when I say don't share your problems. Oh yeah, what I'm saying is don't complain and cry and whine to everybody. When you engage with someone else, regardless if it's someone in your family or someone at the coffee shop or someone at the shopping mall, at the restaurant or wherever, the gas station, put on a smile. Put on a smile. I guys, this comes from my own experience. Smiles are contagious. Now it's really difficult nowadays because everybody, where's my phone? It's charging here. Everybody's got their face down in their phone. So nobody's really like just looking up anymore. But if you make eye contact with someone, smile and watch them smile back. If they don't smile back, then something's wrong with them. But do it. Spread joy, spread happiness, be a beacon of light. Be happy. Why? Because what's the alternative? Being upset, being stressed, being worried. All of those negative emotions take energy. It's like those are energy vampires. It just sucks the life out of you. Let it go. Pick it up when you can think about it. Oh, let me give you an analogy. I got a great analogy. Okay. This is an analogy I use with some of my students, my teens. All right, because I've taught a lot of teens before. And I would give a bottle of water to one of my teens. I say, okay, hold out that bottle of water. Let me try to go like this. Okay, hold out that bottle of water. All right, so the teen holds it up. And I ask him, okay, is it heavy? Oh, no, it's not heavy. Okay, good. Keep holding it up. And as they're holding it up, I would go and interact with the rest of the class and talk. And I would kind of just forget about the student. And in the corner of my eye, I would see him kind of lower the bottle. I said, oh, keep the bottle up. And then I ask, is it getting heavy? Yeah, it is, teacher. Or Mr. Finn, it's getting heavy. It's okay. Keep it up for a little while. And I keep talking with my other class, the student. And I would see the student kind of putting it on. Oh, what are you doing? Raise that arm. They would hold the arm up again. Like, Mr. Finn, it's getting heavier. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I thought you told me it wasn't heavy. Oh, it wasn't, but it's getting heavier. And then I would ask the student, tell me something. Has the composition of the bottle changed? No. Did you or did I add water or additional weight to the bottle? No, of course not, Mr. Finn. Then why is it getting heavy? Because the longer you hold on to a weight, the heavier it gets. What we need to do is learn how to set it down and then pick it up when we can. What do I mean by that? So think about this. Too many people have issues going on, problems going on in their lives, and they carry it with them all day. They carry it with them everywhere they go. It's like a you can see it's like a weight on their shoulders. They're not smiling. They're not happy. They're complaining. They're mumbling. And the longer they hold on to it, the worse that they get. So what I tell my students, when I tell people, learn to set it down. You don't need to carry that problem with you everywhere you go. And this comes with training and practice. It's what you call compartmentalization. Compartmentalize. Okay. So let's say I'm here with you guys. I'm doing a live. I'm not thinking about my classes tomorrow, my wife who's not feeling very good. I'm not thinking about the bills I got to pay. I'm not thinking about any of that. My focus is here and now. And then when I can focus on those problems, then what do? I hold them. It's not so heavy. And if you try that, you would see that you'd probably be able to handle things a little better. And this is what I'm talking about, having that kind of perspective. So going back to happiness is a moral obligation. People are going to say, well, Mr. Finn, I can't just flip it on and off like a light switch. And I said, I bet you can. No, it's impossible. If I offered you $10 million right now to be happy, would you be happy? Oh, yeah. You see, you just did it. Oh, no, Mr. Finn, but I'm happy because I'm going to get the money. Okay, valid point. Have you ever noticed that you may be unhappy at home, fighting with a partner, a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, child, and Someone comes to the door, a stranger, and you open up the door and you're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? How you doing? How did you switch from being moody, grumpy, miserable, upset to being happy? It's possible. I didn't say it's easy, but it's possible. And Dennis Prager, and these are things that Dennis talks about in that book and stuff. And one of the things that he suggests is just do things that make you happy. You know, what is that phrase? Fake it until you make it. Do things that make you happy. Put on some good music or eat something nice, you know, or maybe don't eat something nice because you can overdo it, get kind of put on some extra calories or extra weight because of the extra calories. But put some nice music on, put a nice show, read a nice book, maybe take a nap. But you can try to train your emotions to get the desired feelings. Does that make sense? And that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make about happiness, choosing to be happy, trying your best to be happy, especially when you're around others, and only sharing your problems with that tight-knit group that you call your friends, right? Not just everybody, but you call your friends. Yeah, Dennis Prager. Okay, good. Do your part. How you doing, Manuel? Good to see you. Good. What is he saying here? Wisdom from Mr. Finn. Thanks, man. I just want to share. Let me give you guys a little bit of background. I put a little bit in my description, but yeah, most of all of you know I'm an American who's living out here in Brazil, and I've been out here for 12 years. And in my life, man, I've had lots going on. My parents separated on my 8th birthday. I'm the oldest of 4 boys, and that's when I had to be a man right away. I had to have responsibility, so I lost a lot of my youth because I had to work and go to school and stuff. I've been homeless 3 times, twice in America, once here in Brazil. In Brazil, when I was homeless, I remember when I got my first place, I rented my first apartment, and I made a mistake in my calculations when I got in that apartment because it was the first time in my life I had to pay for healthcare, and I wasn't expecting the bill when I did my budget, and the bill came, and it's very expensive. And there went my money. I spent the whole month. I'll never forget May of 2012. I spent the whole month sleeping on the floor, no food, no money. It was tough, man. So, and I didn't lose heart. I mean, I'm not just saying these things to you that I haven't applied in my own life. At that time in my life, I remember feeling broken inside, just broken. And at that time in my life, I was teaching kids. I was teaching like 4th graders and 5th graders. I had like a classroom of 30 of them. And I remember waking up in the morning, like in a fetal position, just upset, just like on the verge of depression. Like, what did I do with my life? I was a successful electrician in America, and I gave it up to save a relationship not worth saving. And I was just a mess. But I am very grateful, very blessed to have the father that I had, the way he raised me as a kid, me and my brothers, mainly me because I had more time with him. But kind of tough. He was a tough guy. He did tough love. I remember sometimes when I would complain, he'd be like, "Hey, I'm raising men, not boys." And I really give my father a lot of credit for being able to survive out here in Brazil, because I remember feeling that way, just kind of on the verge of depression, just feeling sorry for myself. And I kind of hear that my dad's voice, "Get your ass up, get up. You've got responsibilities. You got people dependent on you, counting on you." And that's what I did. I got up, got dressed, put on my boots, washed my face, drank a glass of water. That was my breakfast from the tap, which is not that recommended here, or it's not very recommendable here in Brazil, but that was my breakfast. And I went to work, went to the classroom, and all those kids, "Hi, Mr. Finn. Hi, how's it going? Hey, da, da, da. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm great." You know, I had to put on this, like, I had to project this optimism and energy, because kids, man, take a lot of energy. Imagine like 32 of them. I think I had 34 of them. I don't remember. So I chose to be happy. I woke up not feeling it, but I made the decision before I walked out the door to be as happy as I could be. So it's possible. It's totally possible. Now let me show you one more thing about Dennis Prager, and then I'll kind of switch gears a little bit. So he's got this YouTube channel or website called Prager University, or Prager U. It's really good. It's really good for those of you who want to practice your English. They're 5-minute videos. on all areas of life, all areas, political science, history, life studies, which is my favorite one. I can't think of them all right now. And he made a video called The Happiness Equation. And it's U equals I minus R. Okay. This is Dennis. This is his happiness equation. And he made this up. So I'm not taking any credit from him. But it makes a lot of sense. What is this? If the pictures help you, what do you think this means? What is U? What is I? And what is R? What do you think this is? Matthew Picard, sage advice here. Thank you, bro. How's it going? Yeah, dope, man. Cool. What does Gabriel here say? Don't you think the contrary is also annoying? I mean, that people who pretend to be excited and happy, so we have to find a balance. Well, yeah, I'm not saying pretend. I'm saying be as happy as you can be, because you're doing it for other people. You can go overboard, right? You can be extreme. But you got to understand something, Gabriel. It's the people around you. They're not guilty for your unhappiness. So you shouldn't dump on them your negativity. You shouldn't put your negativity on them. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying be genuine, be legit, be real. And that's true. I am all about being real. I'm not about a person. If you know me, I'm not a person who wears masks. I am who I am. And those people who know me know that. But I make a conscious effort to be as happy as I can be. I think he's saying that you want a family to be happy, but you need to ditch the one. I don't know if that's related to, but that's funny. But so I'm not saying be fake. What I'm saying is be genuine, but genuinely be as happy as you can try to be. And this happiness equation that I'm sharing with you here is great, because this equation adequately kind of represents why most people are unhappy. So what does it mean? The U means unhappy or unhappiness. So unhappiness is a result of image minus reality. And this is a very good video. I highly recommend you guys watch it on YouTube. Like I said, it's like a 4-minute video, 5-minute video. And I don't want to take any of the credit from Dennis Prager, but he does great work. Most people are unhappy because all of us have an image of how our lives should be, right? Like we're growing up as kids and we think, man, when I grow up, I want this and that and that and this. And we have these expectations of what life is supposed to be, what life should be. And then those expectations and reality kind of collide. Boom. And shattered in a million pieces. And that's the equation that he made that illustrates why most people are unhappy, because reality slaps you in the face and totally messes up the image of what life should be. Right? This happened to me. And I think this happens to most people. This happens to most people when they get to my age, Marty's age. I don't know how old Peekaboo or Gabriel. Emmanuel is still a young kid. If it's Emmanuel that I'm thinking of, my old student. But people that get into my age, I'm 40. I'm going to be 43 next month. People that get in the 40s and 50s, we have in English what we call the midlife crisis, right? That midlife crisis. What is that? That's when all of a sudden reality and image that what you've had in life is just crashed together and shattered and you're lost. So what does Mr. Prager suggest that you do? Well, he suggests 2 things. You either accept the reality, make the best of the reality that you have. I mean, like Manuel says here, right? Manuel says, keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. I'm never stopping, right? Yeah, baby. I hear you, man. Good. So 42. So we got guys my age. We got people here my age. Yeah. So that's the idea. So what Prager says is you got to either accept the reality, accept the reality, live in the life that you have, make the best of it, and or change the image. Change the image that you want out of life, which is possible. Now that you're kind of older, you can make more realistic images. What does Jonathan say? When the adult life came out, it was totally different than I was. Yeah, that's the idea. I didn't, I tell you what, man, I never in my life expected to be living out here in Brazil. I never in my life thought I'd be a divorced man. I never in my life thought that I didn't, you know what? I didn't think I was going to have kids because I divorced my ex. I was already 30, 36, 37, 36. I can't remember. And I always wanted to be a family man. I always wanted to have a wife and children. I always wanted to be the head of my family. And I thought I was already, so, I mean, I'm a man, so I don't have that same biological clock as women do. But I thought to myself, my chances are going to be, I'm going to find a single mom. And I mean, that's not ideal. I'm not trying to bash single moms, but that's just not ideal. I wanted my own thing. So, and I failed. I was single for about 2 years out in Brazil, and I played, had fun, did things, and the player life wasn't for me. I was trying to find someone I could hook up with and have a family relationship with, and I failed. And it wasn't until I just gave up. Like, I'm just like, done. I'm done. And that's when I met my current wife. And luckily, she was young and single, and so I'm practically living the image that I always had as a kid that I wanted as my life. But the funny thing is, it's not exactly but still, it's working itself out, right? Yeah, the ganja out here, bro. The ganja out here is not so good. Trust me. You would think it'd be like nice because it's tropical and the jungle, but it's nothing like the skunk and the granddaddy purple and all the other stuff I used to get in California. But I'm ganja free nowadays. For many years, I just like to puff on my tobacco pipe every now and then. But yeah, I had the ganja out here. You wouldn't like it, bro. You wouldn't like it. Trust me. I'm sure in New York you get the same stuff you would in California, the edibles and stuff, but we don't have it here. So anyways, if you find yourself in a rut, if you find yourself just unhappy, reflect on, why is it that I'm unhappy? Is it because I'm not living the life I always imagined I wanted? Is my reality that bad? And then start analyzing your reality. Start analyzing, do I really have it that bad? I mean, think about it. It could always be worse. I mean, where I live in Brazil, it's pretty bad. There's like kind of some poverty out here, man. And you can see these kids on the street asking for money, and I think to myself, wow, I came out here with nothing except for the values that I have, the convictions that I have, being a hardworking guy, and I've been able to make it. And that's why I consider myself very rich. I'm healthy. I'm smart. I'm hardworking. I got values, and that's another important thing. You should have values. You should have, every single one of you who are watching this, you should have a set of values to live by. You should have some conviction in your life. You should have something to live for. And another thing can make you happy, right? So let me move on from this happiness to this idea of having regrets or no regrets. And that idea came to me yesterday as I was writing my own death letter, like the death note to myself as an exercise. Those of you who are coming in now, it was a mental exercise to kind of help us reflect on the things in life we should work on if we're not already. And when I was working on that, I was proud to say that I really don't regret much of anything. And why can I say that? I'm a person who takes risks. I'm a person uh, who would rather regret not trying, not having tried, than to have tried. Does that make sense? Like, I remember when I was a teenager, right? Young, like preteen, maybe I was like 13 or 14. And I was kind of nerdy, I was beta when I was a kid. I was raised single mom, uh, and nice guy, had glasses. I was athletic. I played sports, but I was very beta. And my brother was like kind of a natural alpha, and he's younger than me, surprisingly. And he always had attention and always had the girls. And I had friends that were girls, but I never was lucky. But you know what? When I turned about 13, 14, I remember telling myself that what's the worst that can happen? Seriously, guys, think about this. I don't understand what it is to be shy. I understand there are a lot of shy people. I understand that this is something a lot of people suffer from. I don't get it. I'm not naturally shy. I'm very naturally outgoing. Always have been. I was an actor as a kid, and I think that helped me as a teenager. But still, I got rejected a lot. But you know what? I always kept my head up high. I always held my head up high. Because I know who I am. And even more so now as an adult than I was when I was a kid. But when I was rejected, yeah, okay, it stung a little bit, like, but I didn't show it for first. But then second, I would change perspective. And I wouldn't think like, oh man, what's wrong with me? I said, no, it's what's wrong with that person. I mean, it's your loss, not mine. And that helped me a lot just to keep going. So thinking back in my life, there's almost nothing I regret. I mean, I think the biggest thing I regret is probably marrying my first wife. And I say probably for two reasons. It was like the worst relationship a man could be in. It was really bad. I was like an accessory. But if I didn't marry her, I wouldn't have come out here to Brazil. I wouldn't have learned so many of the things that I've learned as far as what it means to be a man in the relationship. And I learned so much patience, and it helped strengthen fortitude in me. And I don't know if my wife, she probably doesn't, because we don't talk about it too much. She's kind of jealous of my past, but she's much better nowadays than she was in the past. But I'm a much better husband for her nowadays because of that experience. And if, like I said, if I didn't marry my ex, it wouldn't have brought me out here. It wouldn't have, like I said, if coming out here wouldn't have allowed me to meet the amazing friends that I've met, to meet the amazing wife that I have. If I didn't meet my amazing wife, I wouldn't have the two amazing kids that I have. So you see what I mean? That, yeah, not like a toy, because we didn't really get down very often. It was bad, bro. I mean, you and I could talk more one-on-one on the shit show it was. And I was in that relationship for 9 years. Can you believe that? Like, I stuck around as long as I did because I never, when I got married, I never thought of divorce. Like my parents divorced, and I didn't want to be a divorced man. You know what I mean? So no, it wasn't like a toy, bro. It was like a pair of earrings or like a handbag. It's so like she can go throughout society and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a married woman. I'm not an old maid." Bro, and I think you'd be proud in how I left the relationship, because she considered herself all high and mighty. I'm a PhD, I'm this and that, I'm so special. And in her eyes, I was nothing. Because I was a very successful electrician in the States, but here in Brazil, unless you're the engineer, unless you're the owner of the company, if you're just like what I was, like the foreman running the job, you're nothing. So the fact that I walked out, I told her I'm done. She was like, what? Nobody leaves me. What? I said, yeah, no. And I remember she was thinking, no, what are you going to do? I remember I was like, what are you going to do? That's not your problem. That's not your problem. I won't kid you. No, I won't kid you. It was one of the hardest decisions I made because I had nothing in Brazil. Nothing. I had no family, no guarantee. I had nothing. It was literally the hardest thing I ever made. But looking at your statement here, rejection is better than never trying. Yeah. I always, like I said, I made that decision when I was a teenager. I would rather try and fail than never having tried at all. And making that choice to leave was the hardest thing. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about like regretting my ex. Yeah, I mean, I do. I really do. Because it really I wish I could get those 9 years back, man. That was like my prime. And I got fat, dude. When I met my ex, I was a rock climbing, snowboarding, mountain biking, not bodybuilding, weightlifting. I was strong. And it's amazing how stress can transform your body and not doing anything but just working and eating and just being miserable. Bro, I got fat. I could show you, I don't know where it is now, but later I can maybe show you an old picture. Maybe one day I'll put it on my stories. My transformation. Because when I left my ex, I got back into my old habits. I was doing beach volleyball, lifting weights again, and I slimmed up. I got strong again. And I remember taking a picture of my 3 driver's licenses. The first one, when I came into Brazil, I was a big old fatty. My second one, when I just left her, I think a year after I left her, and then about a couple years after that, when I was just like, yeah, it's a huge difference. I gained a little bit of weight again, but that's just because of stresses of life. I got an amazing wife now. She still drives me crazy sometimes, but no offense, peekaboo, and anybody else. That's just what women do. It's like your superpower. But anyways, I got a lot of stresses in life, but I don't stress. I really don't stress. Why? Let's see what Peekaboo says here, right? Mr. Finn, when I finally started talking with my ex after 30 years, he expressed remorse at losing me, and I pointed out that he had more kids that wouldn't. Yeah, that's right. And that's having that confidence in yourself. And that's the point I'm making. Like when someone rejects me, okay, I'm going to look at it as your loss, not mine. And that's it. What does Nutshot say here? Oh, that's that one. What does Nutshot say here? I stuck around 20 years with my, whoa. So that's a lot. Wow, man. I hand over the torch to you. I thought what I did was long. So anyways, getting back to like having these regrets, I don't really have regrets. I really don't because I'm happy with the person that I am today. And the person I am today is a trustworthy, hardworking, dedicated, loyal ass kicker. I mean, I'm doing a lot. I'm leading a family. I got 2 kids, a wife, and my wife works at home. She works at home, and it's a lot of work. Today's been a hard day because I took her to her, or I had her go to her mom's house with my daughter. She's not feeling very well, so I've had to be kind of a single dad today. I had my son, so I had to give classes, prepare for this live. I had to prepare lunch, dinner. I had to give classes at the same time. And then I missed a class. I had one class I was supposed to give before I came on live, but I couldn't because I had to feed my son, put him to bed, then come here. And then when I'm done here, I got a meeting to go to with my fraternity boys. And then after that, I got dishes. It just doesn't stop, but that's okay. It's the life that I've chosen. I'm cool with it. And that's what a leader does. A leader doesn't bitch and complain. He does what he has to do. And that's what I do. And I do it proudly. It's a great honor that I have 4 lives depending on me, my wife, 2 kids, and myself, so I don't regret. And then people ask, and people think to yourself, Mr. Finn, how can you do all that you do? And that is kind of what I want to wrap up this kind of talk about. You need to acquire or establish discipline in your life. Discipline. I'm much better now, but I still have a long way to go when it comes to discipline. Back in, I think it was May last year, April, May of last year, I discovered Jocko Willink. If you guys don't know Jocko Willink, man, that guy will blow you away. But he wrote a book and he has this motivational video. You can check it on YouTube called Discipline Equals Freedom. And this video here, Discipline Equals Freedom, it's powerful stuff. Because what he does is he clearly defines the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation and discipline. Motivation is fickle. Motivation disappears. Motivation is a feeling. But discipline is what keeps you going. And that's when I started waking up every day early. I think I started about 4:45 in the morning. And I did that for about 3 months. And then I increased it to about 4:30 in the morning. And I did that for about another 2 or 3 months. And then until recently, I was doing 4 a.m. But I haven't been doing that so well lately since about maybe January, February, because in the fraternity and stuff, I'm staying up too late at night with these meetings, time difference and everything. And I'm going to bed like almost midnight, 1. So it's almost impossible to wake up at 4. So I'm getting up at 5:30, 6. And you're probably going to ask yourself, why are you doing that, Mr. Finn? Why are you killing yourself? Well, if you're in a position that I'm in and you have a lot of people counting on you, if I'm not okay, how am I going to be any good to anybody else? You're going to say, well, how are you okay if you're not sleeping? Okay, that's a valid point. That's a valid argument. I don't get a lot of sleep. The quantity is not there, but the quality is. I do not cheat. I do not lie, cheat, or steal. I'm straight up. I do my best. And this gives me a free conscience. And I sleep well. I sleep well. I don't sleep a lot, but I sleep well. And again, why do I wake up so early? Because I need some time for myself. And early in the morning is the only time when the world is practically sleeping and I can focus on myself. I go out and I walk around. I'm doing about 100 push-ups a day. Today, I still need to do about 75. My day's not over yet. But I do about 100 push-ups a day. And this time allows me to really focus on me. It charges my batteries. It gets my spirit, my emotions, my body kind of all in line and synced. And then I'm able to take on the day. I'm able to take on the curveballs life throws and the problems that appear at home with the kids or my wife. And allows me to give classes, build classes, work on content, Instagram stuff, YouTube stuff. Guys, I hope you can understand why I don't post as often as I do on YouTube. It's hard. It's hard. It takes a lot of effort. I think Nutshots there, Marty can tell you, making content. It's a lot of work. What does he say? You're a happy guy. I have 9, a wife, 4 kids, 2 cats, and a dog. Yeah, that's a lot, man. The cats, man, but the cats, I don't know about you, but the cats never really are one for showing lots of love. The dogs, though, love dogs. What does he say? Jocko is serious dude. He is, man. Best video is called Good. Yes, I've seen Good. Bad things happen. Good. You got a problem? Good. Yeah, no, I know Jocko. I've been checking out a lot of his stuff. He's really good. Another thing about Jocko that's really good that I like, and this goes a lot to us men, especially those men, those of us who have families, even like Peekaboo and other. And if you women, if you're single and have kids, another thing that Jocko says that's really important is having extreme ownership. Extreme ownership is really important. Why? Because if something's going on in my house, if my wife has a problem, it's because I messed up. If my kids have a problem, It's because I messed up. And you say, but Mr. Finn, you didn't have anything to do with that. That's probably why I messed up. Maybe I should have had something to do with it. You know what I mean? Extreme ownership comes from this concept that if you are the leader, if you're the head, you're responsible for everything and anything that goes on in your world, in your realm, what you are the head of. That's what extreme ownership is. And when you grasp that concept, it does kind of make things a little easier. And then it does force you to get better at being a leader, being in front, being in charge. It's not easy being the leader. I think this is why, and we were talking about this on the other live, this is why I think a lot of people nowadays want big government, big brother. Please make the decisions for me. Please, I don't want to do anything. Please allow, have them take care of me. Have the government take care of me. Just give me my free food. Give me my free check. You know? And I don't accept that. I don't need the government to tell me what to do. I think a lot about that sometimes. Government's gotten way too big. And it's taken away lots of freedoms. And for many people, unfortunately, they're okay with that, because when you don't have those freedoms, you don't have to worry about it. No, not that. That's the wrong picture. I think about this picture here. One of these lions, right? One of these lions here has security, free food, free shelter, free medical care. And the other one has no guarantees, but is truly free. Let me ask you, which one would you want to be? You see, I've got the receipts. I've jumped out in the abyss with no guarantee. And I've made a life for myself. I don't need government to provide for me anything. Protect my rights. Protect the country so I can produce. I mean, if I had to start just killing people just to protect my stuff, that would make my already hard life harder. So the government does serve a purpose, provide the basic essentials. But other than that, get out of the way. And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost this. A lot of people have, they just want an easy life. Life is not meant to be easy, guys. You need to find comfort in the discomfort. Lean into problems. And I know this is a hard concept. It's nice to have good times. It's nice to have holidays and vacations and going out to nice restaurants. It's nice to be with good people and laugh. I enjoy a beer. I enjoy a barbecue. But if every day were like that, you would get bored. We need balance. I think sometimes we need those hard times. Why do you go to the gym and lift weights? It's resistance that strengthens you. It's resistance that strengthens your muscles when you're lifting weights. You got to break down the muscles so they can rebuild stronger. That goes with everything else in life. We do not grow in comfort. We do not mature in constant leisure activities. They're nice. They're good. But it's not where growth comes. It's not where maturity comes. We need to go through hard times. I'm sorry to say that, but there's a saying, hard times brings out strong men, or something like that. So that's the idea, guys. I want you to have a life of happiness and no regrets. Be happy. Choose to be happy. Even if you are in a very bad situation, even if what you're going through right now is like, it feels like the end of the world and you can't take it, stop. Step out. Let's take a step back. Reflect. Look at blessings you have. It could always be worse. If you regret things that you've done, or if you regret not having done things, start changing. Start making a difference. Start making different choices. Change your life. Change your diet. Change your routine. Change your job. Be cautious of comfort. Comfort is going to bring complacency. It's going to bring routine. It's going to put you in a rut. And I don't know about you, but that's boring. So make some changes. Work on some things. I guarantee there's something that you can find that you can improve on and polish. Yes, Manuel's got it. Infinite progression. That's right. Don't settle. Keep going forward. One thing I tell my guys, my students, I don't know if Manuel remembers this, but always have a goal, or always have more than one goal. I've got 3 here I've been working on recently. If it's stuck on my computer. Yeah, I got 3 here I'm working on. 3 short-term goals and 3 long-term goals. I wrote them out. You can see them. These are my goals. I got some goals here. I want to start doing a podcast, but I got to work out the details, like what's the name, what am I going to talk about. I want to learn how to do finance, like investments and crypto and stuff. I want to learn some of these things. Got to have goals. But once you achieve your goal, set new goals. That's the key. Like Manuel said, right here, infinite progression. Keep going forward. Keep improving. Keep strengthening. Read books. Put down the phone. Except when you're watching my videos. I need the views. I'm trying to grow here too. And I'm not trying to grow for selfish reasons. I'm no expert. I'm no guru. I'm no theologian. But I am a successful English teacher. And I have a lot of experience in life. And all I want to do is help. So I'm trying to grow here. And so if you do know someone that can benefit from either these lives that I'm doing, which are a lot different than my English videos, I want to try to incorporate English with things that I find interesting. And I also think probably next week I'll have my first interview. I also want to probably start bringing people on that I know, people that also have different perspectives, because I think dialogue is really valuable and good. And the fact that I am an English teacher and most of my audience is English learners, I believe there's more that I can bring. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do these lives, this is my 4th one now. One of the reasons why I'm doing these lives is I want to engage more. I just want to engage more with you guys. I want to talk with you guys, and I want you guys to get to know me better. And I want to learn from you just as much as I want to help. Like Manuel said here, plant seeds, share. I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything. There's a lot that I still don't know, but there are some things that I do know. And one of them is just life. Life is not for the weak. Hey, thanks, Vigo. I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it. It's a lot of English stuff, but the lives, I'm going to try to make it more life related. And if you haven't checked out, I do tongue twisters every Tuesday because I'm a big fan of tongue twisters. I love tongue twisters. It's a great way to really improve pronunciation, articulation. My objective is to make people better communicators, using the proper words in the proper settings to get your message across. I come from a country that guarantees you the right of your opinion, freedom of speech. And that's being taken away. And that's being taken away because not enough people are bold enough to stand up. Unfortunately, too many people are too offended too easily. We shouldn't try to be offensive. But sometimes, what's that saying? The truth hurts. And I'm not going to treat people differently than the way I would like to be treated. What's that golden rule, right? Christ said, do unto others as you would like done to yourself. I would rather you give me the hard truths, hurt me with the hard truths, than comfort me with a lie. I hate lies. I don't lie consciously. And if I do lie, I own up to it. But the point I'm trying to make here is my objective here is just to help you guys, to partake onto you guys things that I've learned in life, the experiences that I've had as a man, as an American, someone who's been living in another country for many years and been all around, not all around, but I've been in many places. I've moved around a lot as a kid, so I learned how to engage and interact with people. I learned how to use proper body language and how to communicate. What has Peekaboo said? My ex-husband was ETL, English as a third language, and he was quite upset that native-born speakers didn't try to do a good job. Yeah, you know what's funny, Peekaboo? I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And that's why, as an English teacher, I have my experience teaching English as a second language. But my aim, like I said earlier in the broadcast, was intermediate to advanced students, English teachers to help them simplify their lessons, and even natives, to make natives better communicators. I mean, it just boggled my mind how so many people just don't speak correctly. And not only that, they don't write correctly. I don't know how many times I've seen people say could have with the OF. That's horrible. That's so bad. I've corrected, like, my own father, my niece. I said, no, that's wrong. It's could have with an apostrophe VE. And my dad be like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh. I only do this for a living. I only studied and been graduated in this. It drives me up a wall. So yeah, I hear you, Peekaboo. I feel the same way. So my objective is just to do this. I don't have the patience anymore for beginners. I can do it, but for me to take on a beginner, they got to pay me an awful lot of money because it takes a lot of energy, and I've paid my dues already, if you know what I mean. Like I'm at a comfortable level, or I'm at a comfortable stage in my career that I can be more picky in who I teach. And I don't want to teach anyone who's forced to teach. Like, people quit all the time, but they come back. For me, it's got to be a pleasure. It's got to be fun. Most of my students now are very, very successful, hardworking people, CEOs, lawyers, surgeons, people that have stressful lives, and I want to provide them an opportunity to relax. Let's talk. Let's read an interesting article. Let's do some exercises, but let's have fun with English. Gabriel says, that's what I'm looking for, sir. Where can I find more information about it? Well, bro, contact me on Instagram, DM me, right? And let me put that out there. I'm going to wrap this up here. But if those of you guys who are interested, you could always leave a comment in the video after I save it, archive it. You can leave a comment, or you can talk to me via Instagram, right? English with Mr. Finn. And I know, Gabriel, you've already found me there because you were on that live earlier today, which was great seeing you. So anybody, and those of you who are watching this video later, if you want to get in contact with me, I do give private classes and stuff. It's hard now, though. I'm kind of booked. I'm kind of full, but I give advice for free. I give tips for free. Classes I charge. One-on-one time I charge, but I give tips for free. So don't worry about worrying about that. You send me a message. have a doubt, I'll help you out, right? And that goes for everybody. So my objective is to help. Like, I'm always trying to do my best, and I don't want to come across as an arrogant person. So, I look for people like Manuel or some of my older students, some of my students who've studied with me. They're going to be the ones that can sell me. Yeah, I don't want to sell myself too much, because I don't want to come across as arrogant or whatever. But I know what I'm capable of, and I think that's so important. Going back to the topic, and I want to wrap this up, but going back to that topic of tonight about happiness and regrets, a lot of it has to do, and going back to, what was it, the second live I did about building confidence and charisma. You got to know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know what you're capable of. And if you do this, if you figure this out, it will make your life a lot easier, because it'll make decisions, it'll help you make decisions a lot better. So it's really important. Know thyself, right? And with that, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I had a great job. I had a great job. You can see I'm tired. I had a great time. I had a great time being with you guys. And I appreciate all of you that were here participating and interacting with the chat. It really makes me feel good. It makes me feel happy, because that's what I want. I want to engage with you guys. And I just want to make sure that I just want to give you guys something that's worth listening to and watching. And if you got something out of this that was helpful, and you maybe can think that could help someone else, share this with them. And just help me spread my content. Just help me spread my channel. And that's all I ask. I'm not asking for money, just your support. Like the video, subscribe to the video, and just help me grow, right? That's what you can do. And without further ado, I'm calling it a night. Guys, thanks for joining me. Make sure to catch me next Tuesday night. That's the nights I'm aiming to go live, every Tuesday night about 9 p.m. my time. Every Tuesday morning, I release a tongue twister, so make sure you check those out. And in between, here and there, I'm trying to release other videos. I have a whole list of videos. I got my notebook right here. Look at this. This is my YouTube. This is my YouTube notebook. It's all beat up. I take it with me in the jungle, right? I take my notes here. So I got a lot of ideas of things to record still. I have a couple of videos in my bank to finish editing. Problem I've got is time, because unfortunately YouTube doesn't pay the bills yet. So I still have to work and provide for my family. So thank you all for being here. I had a great time. Hope to see you next week. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Bam!
Yeah, baby, yeah.